That sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode, one of your favorite episodes of That Sounds Fun. I'm your host, Annie F. Downs. I'm so happy to be here with you today. But before we dive into today's conversation, I want to tell you about one of our incredible sponsors. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Social media is tough, y'all. I love getting to stay in touch with all of you, but it is hard to keep up with the ever-changing trends and tricks, and comparison can so easily creep into. We don't think about that having such a big effect on us when we're scrolling until later, when we're in a terrible mood, can't figure out why. Am I talking about you or am I talking about me? I know. And this is why I love having regular appointments with my counselor. We often think it's just the big life issues that we need to tackle in counseling, but it's things like social media and boundaries and comparison that come up a lot for me. The small things can become big things, and I want to cut them off before that happens. So why don't you give BetterHelp a try? It's all online, so you can connect with a licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home on your own schedule. And plus, they make it easy to find the right fit. You just fill out a quick questionnaire. We love a quiz. And you'll get matched with a therapist that's right for you. Stop comparing. Start focusing. Visit BetterHelp.com/thatsoundsfun today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thatsoundsfun. All right, today on the show, we are back with another episode with our friend Eddie Kaufholz. And y'all, we heard you when we didn't have a June episode with Eddie. Boy, did we hear you. Y'all let us know. For real, though, we are glad you love these episodes as much as we do. And if you're new around here, our friend Eddie has been joining us every month. Well, obviously, except June. And we're recapping the last 10 years in honor of the 10-year anniversary of That Sounds Fun. We've now made it all the way to 2019. And if you've missed any of the previous episodes, we've got a Spotify playlist. It's linked in the show notes where you can go back and listen. And those of you coming to the Ryman on August 11th, get ready because Eddie will be with us in person there as well. Here's my conversation recapping 2019 and the Olympics and all the other things we talk about with our friend Eddie Kaufholz.
That sounds fun.
Eddie Kaufholz, welcome back to That Sounds Fun, July 2024.
Oh, we are really burning through the years, aren't we, Annie?
Listen,
It's lovely to see you.
I have not had a lot of internet chirping as of late. Thank God, for whatever reason. That's probably knock on wood. But boy, when you were not on in June, did we get some chirping? Where's Eddie? What happened to the Eddie podcast? I was like, you guys, we took a week off from the podcast the week that Eddie's always on.
So
People
listen,
did not like it.
Well, first of all, that's sweet. Second of all, you got to save some of the magic. You know what I mean? Think of how much better this show is going to be because June didn't happen.
That's right. Let me start with...
Go.
You're so very tan.
I'm wildly uncomfortable.
I have known you for years, and I'm not sure I've ever seen you so tan.
Yeah, I'm real tan.
What have you been doing?
Oh, spray tan. Just getting out
I
there.
hope that's true.
Can you imagine? I mean,
why
people
not?
are
I get a
listening to
spray
this.
tan all the time. It's wonderful.
No. I have no problem with people getting spray tan. Can you imagine Eddie Kaufholz, the person who you know, dressing as I do, living as I do with my... we went to Florida for a couple days, and
the whole fam, you and all the girls, or you and your main gal?
No, everybody. Yeah,
Great.
Everybody. All of us went down to
See
Florida.
Uncle Jimmy?
And we did see Uncle Jimmy. We've had a lot of guests up here. And I feel like I've just been outside a lot, but I'm very intense about sunscreen. I just went to the dermatologist. I'm doing the thing, but I'm just darkening. And I look great.
So you look great. So this is the shade of you with sunscreen? Let me tell you what I would have guessed. I'd have guessed you said, we spent the weekend at softball tournaments and we were outside the whole weekend and I forgot my hat. That's what I expected. Not like I've been spending a month outside and just using 30 SPF.
No, this is 50 spray all the time. And
golly.
All the time on my face too. Like every morning I put Brian got me like some sort of lotion and I just use it every morning and it's SPF because it's.
Wow, you have been outside a lot.
Like all summer, and this is like my base.
Yep, keep talking. You're speaking the right language. You've built your base.
No, I've laid down a base. Also, Lucy Girl has gotten into swimming. She joined a swim team.
A fairy that swims. Who can imagine?
Hey, have you ever experienced swim team and stuff?
Not as a I was never a swimmer. I have seen other people do it, and I love that people write "eat my bubbles" on their back. Love it.
It's a whole thing. A swim meet is 4 to 5 hours long.
Unbelievable. I know.
And
So
so-
y'all have to sit outside there?
Hence the tan.
Yeah. And now I get it.
Is you're just sitting outside and maybe there's a tree, maybe there's not, but it's like, it's a crazy commitment. Lucy is there swimming for an hour. Like this morning she was doing.
Is it in y'all's neighborhood?
Close. Okay, you want to hear a weird thing?
Yep.
This is a very DC thing.
Okay.
The swim team is inside of a military base. So Bree and I both
She's swimming for America?
She is swimming for America. Bree and I both had to go and get military clearance to get inside.
Cool.
So the base opened up the base opened up its pool and stuff to this swim team for the summer, so you can get sponsored to be there for a summer. So we have spent basically the whole summer with people in the Army and some swim families at this military base. It rules. Have you ever spent time on a military base?
No.
They're like their own little world.
Yeah, they are their own little world. I watch my friends, some friends of mine live out on KWAJ. I don't remember how to say it. I think that's how you spell it, though. They live on the island, like the Marshall Islands, out past Hawaii. My friends.
The astronaut.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yes,
Drew and
yes,
Stacy live out
Yes.
there. And he's like the commander. He's like the general of the islands. And so I watched their life. That's as close as I've ever seen. I watched their life and how it operates out there. Is it so
it's like
cool?
A whole city. It's got its own Starbucks, its own grocery store, its own gas station. It's its own
so many secrets.
It's its own full little world. It's so neat, and we get to just be in it for the summer. So it's fun.
I think I may have told you this before, but watch me say it again. One of my dear friends from college, she and her husband moved to DC after we were in college, and were in secret full jobs.
Whoa.
And in their small group at church, like apparently this is like a DC thing. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Like you just don't ask people, what do you do? Like it's just
100%.
Right. I think that's so cool. You just don't ask people what they do because the majority of people, 75, I remember at the Spy Museum in DC, it's like 70% of the people you pass by in DC are spies in some way or another.
And some people you even podcast with that you wouldn't even know, right? Because we can't talk about it if you're a spy. Can you imagine? I'm trying to infiltrate the podcast.
I have never considered that you moved to DC to spy because I have never considered that actually Bree moved to DC to spy. That's the truth.
Right. It's the perfect cover though, right? We just to talk about it openly as if it's a joke. And then to talk about how you're talking about it, you're never going to know if we were spies. So military base all summer. Okay, here's a military base thing that's fun. At 5 o'clock every day. Well, first of all, they have
PM or
adults.
AM?
PM.
Okay.
Then whatever it is in military time, so 1700.
1,700 hours.
Yes. The whole place, they play Reveille and the Star Spangled Banner on like a trumpet or a whatever, and everybody, civilian and military, out of the pool, stand up, face the flag. 5 o'clock every day. We were there yesterday. Lucy swimming with her little buddy. Everybody out of the pool. We stand up, do the thing. It's just so like a whole different planet. This whole thing is happening right in our backyard. It's so cool. I know there are people here that are listening that have been like military. They're like, yeah, this is our, but we've never had any experience with it. It's the coolest.
I want to see that so much.
It's if you can get here before September and our security clearance runs out, you can come to the pool with us.
Man, I did a wild amount of reading over the month of June because I was off social media. And so I just listened to audiobooks and read books and whatever. One of the books I finished was The Women. Have you read this or heard about it?
No, I'm writing it down.
It is all about a female nurse in Vietnam.
Oh.
Dude, we do not
real?
know about Vietnam. It is unbelievable that like we all left elementary school and middle school with like tons of information about World War II
Yeah.
and World War I, but no, I don't know anything about Vietnam. I don't know that it was taught to me very well. If it was, I did not. It certainly wasn't given the Star Spangled Banner treatment, which is
Vietnam and Korea were just sort of mixed into like a PS. So I mean, we were taught
into like what's the movie with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan?
No,
Forrest Gump?
Forrest Gump.
Is that true?
Yes, Forrest Gump
Yeah.
is what I knew about
Funny, I was
Vietnam and Korea.
Yeah, I was trying to be funny, but it turns out that was the right guess.
Sorry, that was the right guess.
It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Splash would have been another.
Oh,
I think
that's
that
a good one.
been,
Yeah. Big would have been a good one.
Big
But I think you'll really like the women because it is. I learned a lot about the military reading the women.
Okay.
And listen, let me tell you, I did not
yeah.
cry in that book until the last 3 sentences of the author's acknowledgments.
Oh. You read the acknowledgments.
Always. Do you not?
It depends on how close I was to the book or to the author.
I am blown away that you can close a book without reading the acknowledgments. I think that is so interesting who people think.
Okay. So will it wreck it if you tell me what the author said? Or should
I don't think it'll wreck it. I don't think so. But in the book, so the whole book is about POWs, Vietnam War, PTSD, the amount of women that were in Vietnam that when they came home were treated as badly as the men when they came home, except there was a lot of women weren't in Vietnam, you're fine kind of thing. You weren't on the front lines, you're fine. And so the amount of PTSD that comes from that, and then one of the stories she tells in the book, this is kind of ruining it. So if you want to read this book and you're listening or you're in the middle of it, just skip forward 50 seconds and I'll be done.
Okay.
In the book, she talks about kids wearing bracelets with POWs' names on them.
Oh, my Lord.
And so she talks about that casually in the book.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 sentences are, and to Sergeant Bill Smith, whose bracelet I wore for my...
Oh,
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps telling you about it. You go
that's great.
Oh, she wore one of the POW bracelets, and that was kind of the birth of wanting to write this book.
My goodness.
And I really did that in about 50 seconds. So
yeah, you did.
So if you're back and it wasn't spoiled for you, welcome back. But in that, I mean,
women.
It just made me teary, but it made me all the more interested in how and grateful for what our military families do.
Oh man. So, yeah, we talked to some of these folks and you just are like, they're living different lives. It's different consequences. It's different. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yes.
What they are doing
yes.
on a day-to-day. What constitutes a normal day for them or a normal year for them is something we cannot imagine.
And in some ways, the respect they have for our country and our freedom. I watched this video from July 4th of Dax Shepard. Kristen Bell posted this. And he is explaining to his kids how lucky we are to live in the U.S. Oh. And he's saying, your grandmother, his mom, was a janitor at night. Like she worked all night long. We lived in a single wide trailer and I grew up in that. And look at what grandma has done now. Like look at where her life is now and where she's been able to move. Look at my life now that has benefited your life now. And he's like, I'm telling y'all, you can't do this in every country. My life would not be possible in every country. And in fact, most of my life wouldn't be possible. We are so lucky we were born here. And then he turns back around to the front seat, like he's in the passenger seat or something. He just turns back around in the front seat.
That was just
it was like very moving. Yeah.
Casual
and
dad
I guess
lesson.
one of his I guess one of his kids' friends was in the car because she said the last second is, I like your dad's speeches. And then Dax laughs and that's the end of the video.
I like your dad's speech.
Yeah. What'd y'all do for July 4th?
I mean, we were at that pool.
You were outside.
We were at that pool. We hung out at the pool, did the thing. Yeah. We had people in town for 2+ weeks. DC is very popular to visit over the summer.
That's really generous of y'all to let people stay in your home that much.
And it was lovely. Uncle Jimmy was one of them. Uncle Jimmy and family. And so it was sweet and good, but people had left on the 4th of July. And you know that feeling where you were like, it was good seeing people and you're also 1000% done. We were just like, quiet.
Yeah,
What'd you do?
Yeah. We have our big fam vacay. So 19 of us were on vacation in North Carolina.
Oh, cute. Can you tell me generally where in North Carolina?
Yeah, I can tell you exactly where. Bryson City.
Oh, I knew. exactly where that is.
Yeah, it was really sweet. They had like a little festival during the day. We didn't see fireworks because all of our little ones are all still very little. And the fireworks didn't start till 10 o'clock because we're on the East Coast. And it was children or no children, 10 p.m. fireworks is probably not where you're going to catch AFD.
Yeah.
And so but we had a great time.
Because you're just tired, because you're just sleepy, or it's just not your thing,
I don't do things at 10 o'clock at night at this point in my life. No.
Yeah, no. I understand that. Listen, Bryson City.
Yeah.
Do you guys go there a lot, or was this like the one-off for this
First
year?
time.
Okay. My parents that's like their closest target.
No.
Is to going to Bryson City. Yeah.
We could have seen your parents.
Oh, I got to imagine they were roaming around Bryson City.
Have you been to Darnell Farms?
Darnell Farms? No,
Near
it's
their
on
house?
my list. No.
Oh, it's wonderful. It is so sweet. They have like swings. It's right by the river. So you see a bunch of people. Me and my nephew Sammy were joking that there was a tubing parade going on because everybody tubing down the river in front of us.
Oh,
it's a farmer's market. They have boiled peanuts. They have like Dole Whip, but multiple different flavors. The blackberry was extraordinary.
How could blackberries be in Dole Whip?
It's instead of it being pineapple flavored, it's blackberry flavored.
But that's not. It doesn't matter. This is not the point of the story.
It's whereas Dole Whip is the pineapple.
I understand. I'm messing it up, and you had a flow going, and I'm so sorry. No,
it's great. Anyway, it's very cute. You can pick your own strawberries. They had a sweet corn festival the day after we left.
Oh, precious.
Loved
that is
Darnell
Americana.
Farms. I know.
Okay. It's written down.
You're also going to be so proud of me, Eddie. I did a 5K on 4th of July, and
I saw a picture.
I ran without stopping. I've never run a 5K without stopping, thanks to Couch to 5K. I know.
Andy.
I mean, when you and I both did Couch to 5K-ish running things during COVID, I had done this distance, but I'd never done it in a race with like an actual timer. So I did it.
Annie, you got to feel good about that.
I was thrilled. I mean, I had done the distance already 2 times, so I knew I could do that. You are not going to believe this. My last training run before the 4th of July was on the 2nd of July.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We were at my parents' lake house, and I'm doing the lap, and I'm at like 2.9.
Right,
and I'm like,
right.
I'm just, instead of going to their house, I'm going to U-turn and go back up the road. And there's this little road where you turn right, like a little inlety kind of road. It makes like a triangle.
Yes,
okay?
I understand.
I go down that about halfway, and I turn to come back up, and I look to the right. 10 feet ahead of me, walking down the road, away from me, is a mountain lion, Eddie.
A mountain lion?
On the street, swaggering, the tail going back and forth like this.
Casually
I was so close to not stopping in a 3.1, and now I have to freeze because there is a freaking mountain lion 10 feet from me.
I don't even know the protocol for mountain lion. What do you do?
No, you stand still. You stand still. And as soon as I'm assuming it's a he, though she looked more Nala than Simba.
I understand.
And so I think it might have been a she walking on the road. So I'm so glad I remembered to tell you this. As soon as he turns a corner, I'm like, I can't stay here. I have to go. So I tear out running back toward my house. 8-minute mile for half a mile. I had an 8-minute mile for half a mile, which for everyone to know, I am a 12-minute miler. So I was
that's a perfect speed.
Sprinting. And I just keep turning and looking back and making sure it hadn't, because what if it U-turns and starts chasing me? I really don't know what to do.
I mean, you thank God that you got to do a podcast and got to do this cool life.
That's right. And I lay down and surrender to it. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Say goodbye.
So there are these 2 women, and they're like late 60s, early 70s, who I'd seen walking. And I was like, I at least need 2 things. I at least need to get to them and tell them, and then I need to get in front of them.
Right.
Because
feed them to the mountain lion. And
Thank you.
Right.
And
that's just survival. You've not done anything wrong.
That's just
a good
fight
idea.
or flight. And I was doing both.
No, you're doing great.
So I get to them, and I'm like, hey, ladies, I take my AirPod out. I was like, hey, about half a mile back, just don't panic, but I'm checking to see if you have like bear spray or something, because about half a mile back, there was a mountain lion walking on the road. Yeah. And so I'm going to hurry home. And they were like, oh, you know what? I've seen him in my yard. I was like, and she said, now if you see a bear, let me know. I was like, well, you're going to hear it if I see a bear. Wow. But y'all were way too casual about a mountain lion. Yes. Bears are scared of sound, so we're told to yell. But that will be my last jaunt on that street. Walking down the street.
Annie, and you'd gotten so far on your 5K.
And I was so close, Eddie. I was at 2 points. So then by the time I get to the ladies, my watch is like 1.23. And I was like, I don't know how long I can't even do it. This doesn't count at all. I mean, it was such a mess. It was such a mess.
Listen, I don't even know what a mountain lion looks like. Is it like it doesn't have like hair like a big lion, like a mane, right?
Picture the size of a golden retriever. But not hairless like a hairless cat, but like a Nala, like a female lion, like very, very close hair.
Okay.
And the way you know it's a mountain lion versus a cougar or a bobcat is the tail. They don't have tails. Like a bobcat doesn't have a tail. It just has like a nub. And so those look like little cats. I mean, this was
mountain lion is kind of keeping balance. I see.
Yes, the mountain lion is sauntering.
Couldn't you take it? You could fight something, have a good fight with something.
I think I'd have kicked and yelled. Yeah, I think she'd have bitten me, but I think I'd have kicked and yelled enough maybe that someone, because it was also 4th of July week, all the houses were occupied.
Yes,
and so I think, if that would have happened in December, I'd have been a lone wolf because there aren't people up there all the year round. Lord have mercy, Edward.
My
so
Lord.
I was real ready on July 4th because I had just done a half-mile sprint on July 2nd.
But you did it. You ran a 5K.
I know,
you look so proud of yourself in the picture. I mean, it was just really neat. I was so proud. My cousins ran with me, and it was very kind because we had originally were kind of like, let's all do this. And then people kind of dropped off here and there and here and there or never signed up in the first place. And so then when it got to it, I was like, oh, man, I've been training for 9 weeks. Nobody really wants to do this. I'll go do it by myself because I've been training. Yes, and they're both like, no, we'll do it. We'll do it with you. And so they both ran slow. They ran my pace, which is slower than their natural paces. Right, but y'all went together.
But they ran with me, which they totally didn't have to. I was like, y'all can go. And they were like, we're not doing this to try to win a race. We're doing it to all run together. So
yeah, I take Higgins on runs all the time. And when he was a puppy, we had the same pace. It was great. But now that he is growing up, I'm like, do you just want to go ahead and not run with me anymore?
Hig. Yeah.
Like it's fine. I get it. I'm a 12-minuter and you've grown into probably a 10, 9.5-er. Like it's okay. You don't have to stay with me.
Yeah.
But your family was sweeter and just stayed with you.
Yeah, they stayed with me. And we did. I set a PR for a fastest time, which is going to happen when your 2 cousins are running with you. And just the big goal was I think I'm going to set a life goal that I can finish a 5K in less minutes than the years I am of age. So I was like, I want to finish in under 44. I turned 44 2 days later. And so I wanted to finish in under 44 or 3 days later.
Birthday girl, just the other day.
Girl.
How was your birthday?
It was really fun. It was great. We laid by a pool and ate French fries, which is kind of like that is my favorite thing.
That is.
And then we saw Inside Out 2. Have you seen it?
I don't really want to, and I know I should. I live with 2 of what's the main character's name?
Joy?
No,
Avery. You live with 2 Averys, you do.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's great. I'm sure I will say it, but I'm like, I do not need to feel at a movie at this point in my life. I just want to, okay. So, but you saw it, and was it?
Yeah.
Was it so good?
You know, the first one better fit my personality than the second one. Okay. I can see how the second one is very helpful, and it is helpful to me too. And it was very sweet, and there were some funny parts. But I kind of joked with our team on Monday. I was like, why did Joy have to go on a hero's journey for us all to realize that Joy can solve the whole problem? I just told you that from the start. So, not to spoil it, but guess who makes everything all right? Joy. Duh.
No, I haven't seen it, and I know I'm wrong, but I feel like that movie is like, you remember when you were a kid and there used to be the Goofy cartoons, but he was like learning things. Like it wasn't like normal Goofy. It was like, the modern man learns how to drive and
yes. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to learn while I'm watching cartoons, man.
That's right. That's right.
Joy's got it. We know how it works. We got it.
And
I'm sure.
Their visual of anxiety was really helpful to me from some experience I've had in my life and some friends' experiences. And so I think it's, but again, I know. The first one was great. The first one was, and my favorite character in the whole series is Bing Bong. And he's not in the second one.
The biggest regret of our parenting life with Lucy was right on the edge of being Bing Bong for a Halloween the year Inside Out came out. And she changed her mind, and of course that's fine. But is Bing Bong not the best character of
I'll tell you,
ever?
the little Easter egg I saw is that at one point you see everyone sleeping. You see all the emotions sleeping.
Yeah.
And on Joy's shelf is a mini Bing Bong.
Oh, precious.
It's adorable. Yes, Lucy as Bing Bong is.
Yeah.
Were
She's
y'all going to
great.
make the costume? Was Brie
Well,
going to make it?
We had never gotten that far, but yes, it would have probably been some sort of measure of getting the hat and figuring out a pink elephant and all that.
I love Bing Bong with so much of my heart.
Oh, when Bing Bong exits the movie, that was a deeply, especially when you realize like what's happening, why
Yes.
he's exiting.
Yes.
That was like, damn it, Pixar.
There's yeah.
How dare
exactly.
you?
There's
I
about
did not
3
want
of those in the second one where you're like, yeah, I didn't like going from kid to teenager either, Pixar.
Yeah.
So of course Avery doesn't like it. None of us did.
Right.
So
that 45-second montage, actually it's probably longer, and Up.
Yeah.
When they go
Yeah,
from
right.
like little kid to like her life, and then she's passed away, and then he's sitting in front of the house holding a single balloon. I'm like, you can't do that to a person.
That's rude.
Like,
it's rude.
that is just awful.
Yeah. I'll be interested when you do see it, what you think. Because I do know
I
some
will.
teenagers who saw it that had a really emotional response and felt really seen by it. And I think it will help a lot of my friends who are raising teenagers and a lot of my friends who are teenagers to have some language for conversation.
That sounds fun.
Okay, now back to our conversation with Eddie.
That sounds fun.
So you turned 44.
Yeah, 44.
Am I 44? I'm 44. Yes,
you
because
are.
you and I are the same age, but I happen in
right.
February.
You
and
beat me in-
okay.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but a couple months. Okay. How's it feel, 44?
I don't know. I'm not really, I have two sides to this coin. One, I'm not really into even numbers. So I don't really tend to like when my birthday is even numbers. But number
Funny.
2, we are in a double digit situation that only happens 9 times in our lives, God willing.
Ooh, weird. Yes. Have never thought about it.
So I'm leaning on that. And I'm kind of like in my journaling and stuff, I'm saying in my 45th year, because technically, but I'll be in my 45th year for this year. And then next year I'll be 45. So I'll just stay on the odd numbers. as long as
it
I
just
can.
feels better to you.
Yeah, I just like it better. But it feels fine. It is. I like my life and myself more than I ever have, and so I hope that is how it keeps going. You know.
Would you do your 30s again, knowing what you know now in your 40s?
Oh, can I know what I know now?
Kind of.
Yeah. If I could know what I know now, I think I would start over at like. If I could know what I know now, I'd start over at about 14.
Funny. Yeah. I think I would hit mid-20s, but yes, I hear you. You'd start over pretty young. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just like give myself, I feel like I have some real solid tips
Yeah.
that would have made high school much more enjoyable
Yeah.
and made me a better friend,
Yeah.
made me a better human in general, and made me make different choices that would have led to me being who I work to be now.
Yeah. No,
So,
that's right. It's
more
not like
ease.
you're trying to change the outcome. I just like
Yeah.
you would have just helped yourself on the struggle
That's right.
a little
I'd
bit.
have just been like, if you were like, if you could go back and meet with any version of yourself for lunch,
Yes.
14.
Oh, yeah.
Who would
Funny.
you eat lunch with? Which of yours would you go back? If all you can do is know what you know now and go
Yeah.
back and eat lunch with any of them.
20. 20,
20,
right?
you'd let high school Eddie just let her rip, Tater Chip. That's awesome. Well
'cause-
done.
But only for me because I feel like I don't. It was just so convoluted in high school. Like like 20 was when it just started to like I'm starting to untangle like 0
sure.
through 20, and I'm
Yeah.
like old enough and not mature enough, but like I'm starting to see. I would have just given myself a couple of like, here's the thing, it doesn't matter. This is going to happen, whatever. But then I also wonder, not to like play up the metaphor too much, but like the salmon have to swim upstream when they spawn, and they have to do it. So basically, they
Right.
have to have that fight. I also wonder, like, if I could go back and be like, all right, 20-year-old,
Would it mess up?
You're right. Do Zoloft. Never do this. Da 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 da.
Right.
Like, go to counseling
Right.
a decade, all of that, would it be the same? Like, did that have to happen to be here? You never know those things.
Eddie,
but
I think about that a lot because some of my conversation with the Lord has been like, why was this the path that we picked?
right.
And was it me? Was it you? Was it both of us? I'd like to we it for everyone's mental health, mine and the Lord's.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think I don't want to go back and have 14-year-old Annie not have to struggle. I'm with you. And I'm not parenting. You're parenting, so you're dealing with this. But even with my nephew and like my little nieces and nephew family members, I want to carry them over the rocks versus them have to figure out how to maneuver the rocks.
That is the brutal.
You can't. You have to let them. Or like I read our mutual friend Joy Egrich just posted about her kids finishing both having their last day of school, and how her son came home and said, I play on the playground by myself every day, and how hard that's been for her. I can't imagine. I'm not tough enough to parent like y'all. I don't know how to do that. And so but that stuff has to happen.
You are, first of all, because no one is actually tough enough. You just have to. You have to be there. You just have to do it, and then you dissolve. Joy, I know Joy.
You melt into your bed.
Right, you just cry, and then you write it in a blog a couple weeks later, and you process. Like, it's just awful. But like, we just had a kid finish 6th grade. Eve just finished 6th grade. Do you remember 6th grade? I mean, like, even a good 6th grade experience is a terrible experience. Like, it's just like, and you just are like, I can't save you from all of it. This is, but it is brutal, brutal, brutal.
So I'm with you. I don't want 14-year-old Annie to be unchallenged. But if I had a shot at a conversation with her, I'd go like, I can't tell you everything. But I am going to give you these like 3 things that I think will be really helpful for you.
Right.
That from here on forward.
Yeah, it would. So it would be very specific. Like, don't talk to that person.
Never start that friendship.
Don't do that major. Like, there have been a couple of very specific things that I'm like, I'm just going to give you a heads up. The rest of it, you're just going to have to deal with. Listen. I don't want to turn corners too dramatically, but we have 2 incredibly important pieces of business.
Ready.
One of which, of course, is 2019 at some point, but that can wait.
Sure.
We just finished the Olympic trials, and we're getting ready for the Olympics. What did you think of the trials? Have you watched the documentary Sprint yet? Tell me, like, fully where you were at in terms of the Olympiad.
I haven't seen any of it.
Okay. No, that's fine. I understand.
I'm sorry. This is why it's
sorry.
important for us to discuss this, because we didn't have TV on vacation. There was no TV at the place we stayed.
I understand.
How have you felt about it? Y'all love the Olympics.
Yeah, we watched every second of the trials. It's fantastic.
Did you?
It is just thrilling to watch. It's going to be so fun. The track and field, 100 meter and 200 meter, which is like the super fast, like Usain Bolt type, it is going to be an epic year.
Between what countries? Us and?
It's typically us and Jamaica are always the 2 countries that kind of go back and forth. Sometimes there's a surprise, like for Italy, right? They have a contender. But I mean, there's just some really crazy, crazy fast, unbelievable human beings. And then Simone Biles back in gymnastics, and she looks so good.
Okay, I'll tell you what I did watch is I did watch a minute of those trials because I was still in New York. And the older, amazing African-American gymnast woman who started and did 1 and then she stopped, Gabby
Douglas,
Gabby Douglas. I thought, man, I want her to process all of that for about 2 years, and then I want her to tell me what happened, and tell me about like I got back in shape, or I stayed in shape. I got back to Olympic shape, and I did the uneven bars. Yeah, and then I realized I don't want to do this. I want to do something else with my time.
She's had a pretty unbelievable life.
Gabby Douglas,
Yeah, Gabby Douglas. And not always easy, and a long Olympic road, but also just one of the great athletes of all time. It has been. But I want her to be a commentator. I want her to write a memoir. She's
written 1 book because we were both Zondervan authors at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
But I'm with you. I would love for her. But Simone Biles just looks like what a wild journey.
She's unreal. She is an absolutely unbelievable athlete. It is nuts to watch her effort. Brienne posted something. They did a height, like how high she was in the air, and she's maybe 5 feet tall.
From the ground, the floor.
Yeah, she was 12 feet in the air at one point.
That's a scary height. I don't want to come back down from 12 feet in the air.
And she's doing this on the mat. This is part of the floor exercise. So she's running and flipping, and she's getting 12 feet up. I mean, it is unreal to watch her.
That's amazing.
Very exciting Olympic season.
Will you walk me through real quick when they made the Olympic team for gymnastics?
Yes,
that was a big night to watch because it's just a selection process. It's not like top 5 scores.
It's confusing because I'll do the best I can with this, but it is not just top 5 scores, because if it was top 5 scores, that would mean every routine also has to be equally weighted. So, for example, you could get a good score one night, but you do a routine that is of average difficulty, which means even if you did that perfect, your score wouldn't be crazy high.
Wow.
Whereas a Simone Biles, right, she can get a halfway decent night, but still get a higher score than most people, because what she's doing are oftentimes moves that have been named after her because it didn't exist before her.
Holy cow.
So they have to balance it with not just, that's why she's in, but they have to balance it not just with like the actual score, but the possibility of score. And then they're weighing it across the entire world. So what does the world platform look like? What is the level of difficulty, and how do they compete?
Oh,
so then,
my gosh.
That's how they
How many people are making this decision?
I mean, it's coming down to one person. There's a team of people that are running this.
One person decides who represents America in the Olympics and gymnastics?
Yeah. When you watch the Olympics.
What?
Now, granted, there's a whole staff of people at U.S. Gymnastics that are influencing it. But if you watch the trials, they kept cutting during women's gymnastics to a gymnast. I'm blanking on her name, but she was a medal gymnast from a couple years ago. She is the one that at the end of the day
Maroney
has to
Shawn Johnson.
Maybe around Shawn Johnson's era, but earlier than Maroney. But has to take this and is the person that makes the final call. And some of these are individual, so there's a team of 5 that's all around, like the team score. That's the 5 people that are real famous. But then there's also individual medals for all of the different pieces. So some people will go as part of the team of 5. Some people will go for just,
and they just do uneven bars. Or they just do.
That's right. Yeah. So it's crazy. Gymnastics is insane. Whereas,
is that your favorite? Is the Kaufholz house? Is that the one that is do not miss? Well, they're all do not miss, but
I will watch it all. My absolute favorite, the one that will get me out of my seat standing and clapping, is swimming, and it has always been. It is because it's so raw. It's just time.
It's just humans in water.
Everybody in a pool, go.
Yeah.
The fastest one wins the thing. And it's just so crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's very exciting.
I did. Did you see the clip of Michael Phelps reading or watching a video from an Australian swimmer talking trash about the U.S.?
He was
His eyes were on fire.
He could have gotten in the water.
And then that girl didn't even make the Olympics. Did you see that?
No,
the comments are one of the comments was something like, it's hard to yell over the music when you didn't even get in the club. I mean, stuff like that. Great comments.
She dogged on the national anthem basically. And Michael Phelps was forced basically on camera to watch it live and then react. And you could just see him. You could see veins in his neck, and you could tell if that man got in the water, he would demolish anybody at that moment.
Unbelievable.
It was awesome.
I love Caleb Drexler.
Yes,
I follow his wife on Instagram. She seems lovely. I want to have her after the last Olympics. I was like, I want to have Megan Drexler on my podcast. I keep thinking about it. I need to do it. Megan, if you're listening to Annie and Eddie, come be on the pod.
The other one too is to watch is Katie Ledecky. I mean,
not human, absolute robot swimmer.
an absolutely lovely human being.
Yeah, she seems like it.
I would like her
Yeah.
to be on your show. I think that she would just be tickled and you would just have a great time.
Yeah, I would love her. I think you're right. She is just so fast for so long in the water.
It's unreal what she can do.
Swimming is the main. Swimming and track and field are the ones where I want to see a normal person lane.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Track and field, yeah. Because it's just, you have no sense of it.
Swimming, I have no sense of what would like a normal a CrossFit athlete do. Like my chiropractors do CrossFit. What if one of them was in the pool? Like that's not a normal person. That's an above normal person. But I wonder how that looks versus Katie Ledecky.
That's a better comparison because you're just laughing if I'm in the pool.
If it's
I get
me,
the joke.
I can't do a lap. I cannot do a lap.
I want the lady that runs by our house every day to get out there and do 200 meters. And I want to see.
At the same time.
How have they not? People have been saying that so much. How do they not have? That's going to have to be. I'm going to call it. At some point,
even just draw a line.
Right.
Just like you do the world record line and the personal record line, do a normal person line.
Right.
The orange is the normal person.
Right.
Oh, speaking of orange, can I tell you one off-topic thing? I interviewed Demi Tebow the other day, and I wore a orange and blue dress just for you guys. That is a step, isn't it? That's a step for me to wear orange and blue.
I've heard she's a lovely person and very, very nice.
Lovely. You're going to meet her next week after people hear this at the Ryman event.
I'm going to be so cool about it. I'm going to be so cool.
Your role, I cannot wait when you get the rundown of everything that the pieces you're a part of are just classic.
You know, I know nothing. Which is my favorite part.
You're going to soon. Before people hear this, you're actually going to get a rundown. But
I love it because I thought, how do I prepare? And I'm like, I guess I just make sure a shirt is ironed.
Yeah, have a shirt and pants and pants.
No
poop herring around here. Shirts and pants, and it's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. But she'll be there. You'll get to meet her.
That will be a thrill. And all of I forget who's a surprise and who's not. Lady A. Lady
A's there. Yeah, they're not a surprise. I don't know if you know the surprises. We had a monster surprise that backed out yesterday, and it broke my spirit. I mean, it was our piece de resistance of the crowd is going to stand up and scream.
Couldn't believe
it. The guest had to back out yesterday, and so that's okay for a very understandable
reason. Will you text me
and
and tell me just so that I can enjoy that? What could have been?
Hey friends, just interrupting this conversation one more time to tell you about one of our incredible partners, Hiya Health. This one is for my mini BFFs. Where y'all at? Y'all know we love Hiya Health around here because it's the pediatrician-approved chewable vitamin that is super powered and made with zero sugar and zero gummy junk. So many kids' vitamins out there are basically candy, but Hiya Health was formulated with the help of nutritional experts and is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and vegetables. And then it's supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals. A lot of my mini BFFs absolutely love them, and I love knowing they're getting the nourishment they need without any of the junk. Plus, they come in these really cute glass bottles that are reusable month after month, which I love. Your kids get to decorate them with stickers when you get your first order. And then you can just refill that bottle with every future order. Brilliant. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. Yes, 50. Okay, to claim this deal, you got to go to hiyahealth.com/thatsoundsfun. That's HIYAHEALTH.com/thatsoundsfun. And get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. And now back to finish up this conversation with old Edward.
That sounds fun.
Okay, Olympics. Sorry, let me ask you. I got us off track with orange and blue.
No, I mean, that's right on because, of course, Katie Ledecky trained at the University of Florida.
Oh, well, there we have it. So did Caleb Drexler, I think. I think he's also a Gator, isn't he?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of Gators in the Olympics.
Yeah,
they
I know.
do have.
There's a couple of dogs, but it's mostly Gators.
There's a lot of. It's an Olympic training ground.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We also have to at some point talk 2019 if you feel.
We probably should now since we're at 40 minutes. Let's go ahead and talk 2019. Eddie, we were really rolling in 2019. You and I.
Yeah, I mean,
we were real friends by then.
Off to the races. So yeah.
Yeah.
This was okay. This feels not like 5 years ago. This feels way. I mean, Enya Summer
Yeah, that was our
series.
first NES summer, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is wild to 2019 is borderline laughable because we had no idea. You know, like 2019 is the last year that we didn't know. Oh. It's the last year we didn't know.
I can't overstate this, so I'll just state it as plainly as I can. Like from COVID until right now, like my
Everything's
life,
different.
everything.
Your life has really changed.
I mean, in ways that I don't even. Some we know, some made it onto doing the best we can. Most of it didn't. Like it has been just. So I feel like 2019 was the last normal-ish year.
What do you think we would have said if someone would have said, describe life in a global pandemic? What would we have said in 2019? I don't know that I had even a folder. I think I thought it was impossible because it was a thing that happened 100 years before.
I had no frame of reference of what it. I had nothing.
Of reference. Yeah, I don't think I could have known.
Even when it was happening, we didn't know. You can hear us not know in the old show. Like,
that's right.
Yeah, I mean, and even still, when you look back at it, you're like, how did that? I mean, I know we're going to talk about this a lot clearly next month.
Yeah.
But 2019 was sort of this like the last time everything was normalish.
I mean, seems. That feels really true to me. It feels like there's a BCAD to any adult's life. I'm not sure if that would feel true for a 5-year-old or for a 6-year-old, maybe a 10-year-old who did some school before and after, but it feels like this is a different between elections and COVID. It feels like it's a different world than we lived in before.
Completely.
Whoa, downer. Sorry, man.
No, not at all. It is absolutely.
Old Town Road, #1 song, Old Town Road.
It never gets old, that song.
It doesn't. It never gets old. Okay, speaking of, I don't think Because I'm Happy Clap Along, I don't think that song ever gets old either, Pharrell.
Oh, yeah.
He has a new Lego movie coming out that is his life as a Lego movie.
I want to go, I don't get it, but Lego and Pharrell are both so 100%. Like, it's almost got to work, but it's kind of wild.
That's it.
Do you know that in the in the Lego movies, they won't build anything that a person couldn't build? They only used approved Legos. And if they need to build something, like they built Andy, or is Andy the character? What's the Emmett, the main character? They made a real Lego. So if they have to create something, they'll create it. So in theory, you can watch the Lego movie and build everything. It's all legal Lego builds with actual blocks. Isn't that amazing?
This is why people should stick around for the whole show, because the nugget came in the 44th minute. The absolute nugget. That I have never known that. So you can pause any scene in a Lego movie, and every piece you see is a piece you could purchase and rebuild.
Yeah, and they make references, little joke references to it, like, oh, I had to build it with a bunch of these, or can you hand me a whatever, that if you're like a Lego nerd. Now, some of them are deep pieces that you would have a hard time finding, but they existed in Lego at some point.
Gravy.
It's not like they just like, make the computer make a building and then put Lego X's, lines.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. Is like, click 1, build the building. Click 2, make it Lego.
Right. Had to have been built. It's just, I love it. I love. So I feel like Lego and Pharrell are going to make it work, but that is certainly a very strange thing.
Wow. I wonder if they'll have, because like Snoop Dogg is one of the characters. I wonder if they'll have to make a Snoop Dogg Lego. I saw the previews during Inside Out.
Yeah.
And Despicable Me 4, which you know how I feel about Gru. He's my celebrity crush, so
that's
sure to see that one.
Totally your type.
I know. Bald villain.
What else happened with you in 2019? Was there a
we
life
moved
event?
into the office here, which is awesome.
That's
when we started in the office, when my manager Kelly joined the team.
Oh, great.
So it was a pretty pivotal year professionally for us.
Yes, this
unknowingly that we were about to be out of the office for 6 months, but we it's the first time I went on tour, the first time when I did the Come to the Table tour, the first time we had this office, and the first time I had a manager. No, not the first time I had a manager, but first time Kelly was my manager.
Because you all were running at really full speed when COVID hit. And it was sort of like, how do you keep running? But now that our entire model is different, it was.
Dude, I'm telling you, I was out on a walk on like the third day of at home.
Yeah.
And our podcast network salesperson called me 3 times on the walk to tell me a podcast sponsor had backed out.
Oof.
And I was like, what is this new world? Yeah.
What is
so
this?
yeah, in 2019, we thought it was just up and to the right.
Yeah.
You know, like we figured it out. We've busted the code. Here we go. And that has not been true. There's been other up and to the rights, but there have been down and to the rights as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. Personally, it is worth you knowing Brienne and Eve and Lucy road tripped to Nashville at some point and
in
met
2019?
and met the Secretary of State.
Yes.
And the Secretary of State gave them little pins and took pictures with them, and then they became pen pals. And I think at some point they went back and forth, the Secretary of State. So I wanted, there was other stuff that mattered, but as Bree was...
What else mattered in you? That's not when y'all moved. Y'all moved after COVID.
Next year. Yeah, next year. This was, I mean, this for us, for me, this was, I went to Ghana. This was the year of Esther, Esther's story, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
Wow, what a pivotal year for you too, professionally.
Crazy.
Yeah.
2019. I'm feeling, I feel like nostalgic and kind of, I don't know how I feel, but it's not chipper. It's like,
I feel nostalgic and sick. Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit like,
Yeah.
that was a sweet year.
Yeah.
I had no, this is true in family life and ministry life and job life. You just never know what you're going to have to lead through until you're leading through it.
Yeah.
And so like 2019, Annie, I'm just like, man, she really kind of makes my stomach hurt.
I know it does.
She just was living like pandemics weren't a possibility.
Yeah. This is the interesting thing about this project that I kind of thought for a second if we'd run into it, where it's fun to talk about like the 2019, like, you know, movies and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like great. But like I found this with Doing the Best We Can, rest in peace. Like there were things that were old enough that I could process it in a way that I was comfortable processing it out loud. But 2019 just started to hit on like, I don't know if I want to think about this.
Yeah, I get that.
But not totally, because there was mostly just wonderful things, but it feels so recent. I'm like, what is it going to be like when we're talking like 2022?
That's exactly right. Right.
The other day?
Yeah. Right.
This shirt
That's
I'm wearing was
exactly
purchased in 2022, probably.
That's exactly right, Eddie. I've got the same shoes on that I had in 2022. That's right. That's right. Well, we've done it again.
Annie, I can't wait to see you in Nashville. I can't wait.
I'm so glad that you are coming. Thank you so much for being a part of the show at the Ryman. I cannot believe who'd have ever guessed in 2016 or whatever, when we started being friends via internet and podcasting and Relevant, that we would someday do a show at the Ryman.
You know, I think people around you would have guessed that you would be doing this, because the roller coaster was always me grabbing your coattails. Nah, I don't think
That
so.
is not true.
But
That is not
you,
true. Co-pilot.
But you going full speed ahead and doing this, I feel like that's been no surprise, yet still very surprising. So happy, happy 10 years, happy whatever you were on now. You're 9.
It's 10. You're right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you doing this.
This was fun. Thanks for letting me do this. What a joy.
Always. Let's do it again in August. We'll talk about 2020. Woo.
Oh, boy.
I can't wait to see Lillian's list of top songs, top snacks. What happened in 2020? Can't imagine.
That's what we should do with 2020 is just
pretend
fully ignore the pandemic and be like, Tiger King was nuts, right? Wasn't it so fun?
We should.
Just no mention of it.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right, friends, go wash your hands.
Bye, buddies.
Well, y'all, that was 2019, or was it everything else and 2019? Gosh, isn't Eddie the best? Listen, if you like this episode, make sure you go back and listen to the others from this year with Eddie. We put together that Spotify playlist of all of them. It is linked in the show notes. If you are not a Spotify listener and wish we could make a playlist at Apple, they haven't given us that power yet. So come over to Spotify, listen to the playlist there. If you got any questions from this episode, just drop them in the Q&A box on your Spotify app if you're a Spotify listener, or you can send them to us on Instagram at That Sounds Fun Podcast. Make sure you are following there. That is where the best of these shows ends up. We'll try to answer all your questions as well. If you need anything else from me, you know I'm embarrassingly easy to find. Annie F. Downs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Anywhere you need me, that is where you can find me. I think that's it for me today, friends. Go out or stay home. Do something that sounds fun to you, and I will do the same. Today, what sounds fun to me, y'all, we just got our pictures back that our family took on Family Big Fam Vacay, as we call it. Big shout out from Asheville, North Carolina to Mallory Joy Photography. The pictures are incredible. So this weekend, I am going to be spending all my time printing out pictures, framing them in my house, planning for Christmas gifts. That is what sounds fun to me. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday with our friend, one of my favorite pastors, authors, podcaster from Nothing Is Wasted, Davey Blackburn. See y'all Monday.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Check 1, 2 on the microphone. Annie F. Downs in your car to your home. Every week it's something new. A deep talk or an interview. She'll make you laugh, she'll make you cry. When it's dark out, she's a light. When you're down, get you feeling right. Oh man, that sounds fun.
That sounds fun.
That sounds fun.